and Gragas. Both of them aim towards Coutard here from the start. Nidalee and Orianna also aimed at the mid laner.
Yeah, I definitely like the Nidalee ban. Both as a player perspective, as just an observer. She makes for very strong games. We saw it earlier, the siege potential that comes out, the synergy she has with so many compositions. Definitely a key target, good ban. Orianna's a very safe mid laner. Gragas, you actually see a lot in the matchups against Orianna, so both those champions are out, so we'll actually see perhaps a new interesting mid lane matchup, who knows. Yeah, it will definitely be interesting to see what they pick up. Actually, Elise goes out now, so that's a ban target at the jungle. They don't want the snowball coming from the jungle, or possibly in the top lane.
Yeah, as well. I mean, both Svenskeren and Amazing have played their fair share of Elise coming forward, or in the past, I should really say. Thresh banned out finally here then for the Copenhagen Wolves. And that leaves us with the picks then. What are SK going to go for you first? I mean,
should it be Shyvana?
Where would you be going?
Shyvana's open. You should have taken. If you saw what NIP did with it, it just gets
Renekton as well.
Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, looks like you called it.
I think almost we should switch roles.
We should wait until they lock it in. Maybe they get their glorious insight. No, they don't. Exactly. They're going for Renekton, Freddy's signature champion here, and then Copenhagen Wolves does listen to my advice. They go for the Lucian pickup, which is very popular in Asia right now.
Yeah.
And combined with Shyvana, I think these are solid picks by both teams so far.
Well, comfort champion certainly from SK's side of things so far. This Sona with the Thresh taken out is certainly up there. You know, Nif is playing pretty much Sona Thresh at this point of thing, with the Zyra mixed in there as well. Lee Sin, jungler that Svenskeren also is very, very comfortable.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing comfort picks coming out here. For a first game in a while in a professional setting, that's definitely what you want to go for. With the rise of any support though, we might see a possible counter pick, or even Leona could come out to punish the Sona, because they probably could have predicted that.
Well, it will be locked in there with that Lee Sin. Vladimir, Annie currently being selected, and we didn't really touch on the fact that Youngbuck is also a very well-known Renekton player. That's one of his, if not the go-to champion for him. Going to be a Vladimir picked up here though for the Wolves, along with that Annie support that's only becoming more popular.
Yeah, that's a very interesting pickup, honestly. I'm not too entirely sure how the matchup goes, but it seems like I would give that to Renekton early, and Vladimir doesn't have much lane swap potential. So they're definitely aiming for the 1v1 Vladimir Renekton, because Lucian and Annie definitely beat whatever Sona and extra comes. So perhaps a weaker early game there might be the focus of the ganks. Renekton Lee Sin on a Vladimir might be able to take him down. We'll see.
So for SK then, Vayne is what they're hovering over right now, and Vayne was, of course, a strong pick in the LCS this summer as well for Candy Panda. 6 games played, 5 games won with the Vayne. Found a lot of bans, with a Riven coming out here for this mid lane for Jesus. And Riven, again, has become like a flavor of the month kind of pick.
Almost, yeah. But yeah, the Vayne definitely fits, because Sona is pretty much puts a band-aid on all the problems that Vayne has in her laning phase. The extra sustain, the poke, the push coming out from Sona allows Vayne to thrive a little more in laning phase, although they can't really match up against Lucian and what seems to be Zyra, so we'll see whether Annie support, Zyra mid, Annie mid, Zyra support, we don't know yet. We'll see. Might be just the Zyra for the disengage, because SK is pretty all in. Let's see if Renekton's gonna dive into the fray. Riven's gonna follow up. Lee Sin will be chasing. Zyra ulti will be key, combined with the culling from walking backwards as Lucian does, and then Annie Tibbers engage or disengage. So definitely Copenhagen Wolves have the tools to deal with SK, but SK definitely has the damage to just rip him apart. Yeah,
and we saw, as Jason mentioned in the pre-game chat as well there, Coutard played a lot of Zyra in the spring split, and even since then as well, while we've watched him here in this mid lane. But again, we're going to be seeing Lucian come into this one. Let's talk about that bottom lane, obviously, where your biggest expertise come into it. I mean, Vayne Sona against the Lucian Annie, you've always got to be careful with that Annie in there, but you've got the sustain on the other side. Who comes out on top of that? If obviously, I don't think they end up going in a 2v2.
I think Copenhagen Wolves will predict that SK is going to want to swap this. Vayne and Sona do well in a 2v1. Vayne can get a lot of poke off on the enemy top laner, because she doesn't have really anything threatening her zone. So she can definitely poke down Vladimir. Vladimir not too good in 2v1 early, because he doesn't have the wave clear he gets at his later levels. He's quite squishy. Yes, he has pull, but is that going to be enough? While Renekton, very tanky, can dash through waves, blow them up. So definitely, I think Copenhagen Wolves is going to expect the lane swap coming out from SK. And let's see if they can use their level 1 advantage, because I believe they're a little stronger level 1. So they can scout out and see if they can find out where SK wants to go and punish that immediately.
We'll see if they try and get that ward in that allows them to see the lanes early on in this one. But we are going to be getting in game for our first match of this best of 3 between SK Gaming and the Copenhagen Wolves. The winner, of course, will go through to tomorrow's grand final in the amateur tournament, where they will, of course, play Ninjas in Pajamas for a $17,000 first place prize here. So let's focus on level 1. We said that Copenhagen Wolves going to have the stronger part of this one.
Maybe. Actually, I'm going to slightly reconsider because of Vladimir. Because basically, Annie generally indicates strong level 1. AoE stun. Lucian, strong level 1. The AoE from his Q. Then Zyra can snare. But if SK can catch you unaware and immediately drop that like one target damage down, they can catch you as well. Both teams like going to across different side of the map. It all depends, like once they spot that each other, that they're not in the same area of the map, everything will go suddenly really smooth and they'll start fanning out. But right now, yeah, Copenhagen Wolves just camping the brush. They're deciding what they're doing. SK is pinging the advance carefully, brush to brush, warding the red jungle to hopefully get information. And there's the lane swap ward right there. Nif is placing that down, hopefully to get a glimpse of who goes in that lane, so they can counter swap if needed.
So let's see what else SK go for. Another ward put down there by the Wraith camp. Copenhagen Wolves are going to be warding over by the SK Red, but no ward down in that bottom lane to see which champions are going in towards which lanes. And obviously there was no vision whatsoever there from the Copenhagen Wolves towards this SK team. Luckily for them, they've all recalled here, so we'll see what the reaction is going to be to that whole setup.
Look at SK all moving mid. They're ready to go left and right. They're waiting for Lucian to show. This normally would be a coin flip and like a mind game to whatever level you want to go. They swap, they know we swap, we know that they know, blah, 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 blah. But right now they're waiting for Lucian to show, and I think you're going to see a ping down on the map pretty soon that Lucian shows top and Annie. And SK actually choosing to go for the 2v2 on top lane. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, headed up there, going to give Lee Sin a bit of a helping hand with that blue buff here, which obviously will get Svenskeren on his way. This mid lane, an interesting one, Zyra, which we don't see all that often selected in this mid lane, up against Jesus' Riven, his first game really on the big stage here. What do you think to this lane matchup?
She has the poke advantage. She can lock him down with snare, but if she misses a snare, boy, he's just gonna jump on her. Then again, she has the ulti level 6 to pretty much negate like the jumping around of Riven. He will 100% get hit by the ultimate, and that might be the saving grace.
So look at this, we see Amazing headed over here. Shyvana, Smite already used, Svenskeren saved his and will be able to successfully invade on that red buff right there. Amazing doing the Wraith camp here in the meantime. Didn't spot actually that Lee Sin was up there. Svenskeren is waiting here. Both players level 3. That red buff is going to give Svenskeren that advantage when he's missed the Q. Goes over to the ward though. Will he be able to keep a hold on to Amazing? Will he force the flash out of him here? There is the flash over and a flash burnt to stop that Shyvana getting in, plus the red buff steal.
And the pressure on the map. Good read by SK. They know they're the weaker lane in the 2v2, but they sacrifice that position so they can help Lee Sin get a Smiteless on blue, transition into the red because they know he's not starting there. So they know he can either get him there on the red, worst case get it and gank top afterwards. If not, Shyvana would end up invading Lee Sin's red, but they had no idea whether he had enough control there. So definitely the good call by SK, and this proves why they actually chose for these matchups. And then at the same time, it allows Renekton to bully Vladimir. Good play, strong play.
And speaking of Vladimir, Youngblood going with both utility spells at this point, and Flash and that Ghost in, so he's looking to stay very, very safe in this lane, that's for sure. Freddy, a very competent Renekton player. We see Svenskeren here doing his red buff right now, so that's going to reset that one, and he'll be very happy with how this game for him has started off. As we see in this top, there's been a damage being exchanged. Unlimited just catching a turret hit there. Not think he quite factored that one into how things were going to go forward. There's a stun on towards Nif, and they really are putting down a lot of damage at this point.
Yeah, but no follow-up. Annie burns her stun procs, which is basically an invitation for Vayne to go forward. Sona half HP. SK playing this well. They're surviving it. They farmed equally well. Look at Candy's span as CS, only 4 down, but he has at least 5 creeps there to just take freely. SK ties that up. On the bottom, Renekton has the lane control. Tied CS, but he has the lane control, so he has it pushed. So they can base whenever they want. Shyvana's early pressure is broken. Lee Sin is snowballing. And Shyvana's early ganks aren't honestly not that good. So she wants to get a quick 6 and gank, but Svenskeren managed to break that pressure. So we can see if he can snowball that either in a really good gank later or just an early dragon attempt.
Well, we'll see about that one. Shyvana is on the bottom side right now. Svenskeren continuing to pick up the farm here as he takes his wolf camp. And Freddy continues to push straight up that bottom lane. He's now at level 5 and approaching level 6, with Youngbuck still on level 4. There's Jez taking a lot of damage in this mid lane, those plants. And that's the thing for Jez, to get in there for the farm. Well, he's got to get in there. That's the point of this one.
Once he gets into range, he can kill Zyra, but Coutard playing this makes it really, really well. Look at the poke coming down, almost killing. There he is! No respect for the plans. Jez just drops completely. Coutard taking questionable first blood? I don't know.
Yeah, it all looked a little bit sloppy. I don't think Jesus thought he was going to go down in that one. Ignite not even used by Coutard. Jesus not flashing away from things either. And we talked about it earlier, the pressure maybe as Nifia getting caught out and stunned up. Forgiven forces the flash out of him. A nice knockback there by Candy Panda will stop any kind of follow-up. Well, that's going to force Nifia into healing up a lot, if not even going home for the fear of being caught out.
And this is what I was talking about. In a 2v2 situation, and he opens up with stun, rarely ever loses that trade. Lucian fall damage is way bigger than Vayne can push out immediately, at least. Post 6 perhaps, but even then Annie Tippers is going to reign supreme. So definitely this is where SK pays the price for laning 2v2.
You have to wonder, what's going to cost them more in the end. Nif again taking a big hit. Candy Panda also got hit by Forgiven. Was knocked back in the end. Now we see Svenskeren finally getting involved in the action. Still Ghost and Flash available here for Youngbucks. We are going to see them coming through. There's the pull. We will see a stun. No, we won't. A flash out from Youngbuck. Perfect timing.
You have to flash mid-Q animation and hope the Lee Sin doesn't predict your flash. Really well played by Youngbuck, because as we see, Copenhagen Wolves has complete vision control on the top side river of the map rather, so they know exactly where the ganks are not coming from. They know where possibly the ganks could come from in bottom. So, but Double Summer's Vladimir is really hard to gank post level 5. So definitely well played by Copenhagen Wolves. Good control.
Seeing a blast there coming out on towards Nif, and they might have to back away from this one if they're not careful. Candy Panda trying to be the aggressive one here, but he's going to pay the price possibly. Forgiven knocking him right down. Level up from Candy Panda and a heal from Nif will keep him alive, and they're going to be forced to back away, just as I thought they may have done before that one. But Candy Panda was trying to protect as much damage coming onto that turret as he possibly could, and they now have to leave that lane, and he's already 15 CS behind.
Yeah, he's gonna drop another wave there, and if he doesn't drop that wave, he's gonna force Svenskeren to farm it, which allows the other lanes to relieve of pressure, and this is really good. This is basically spillover. It's what happened. One lane gets really strong, relieves the pressure of all the other lanes, and Copenhagen Wolves hopefully use that to their advantage.
Let's see what Svenskeren does. He just picked himself up that blue buff. Obviously, he's got the luxury of having that one. Obviously, Riven not really needing that one.
Arguably, still with the CDR coming from the blue buff, Riven could need it to cut down like the cooldowns to actually get to the Zyra.
You see an interesting tweet there coming out from Ocelot, of course, former mid laner for SK Gaming. Says I'm watching SK versus Copenhagen Wolves. This Youngbuck here down the bottom takes a lot of damage. Amazing's going to try and follow up here, but honestly, Ultimate running out of Freddy. He dives back in there, will go straight back out as well as Youngbuck used the pull. And very, very interesting encounters down on the bottom. Meanwhile, no Shyvana up in the top side. Svenskeren gets himself another red buff.
He knows when he cleared that camp, he should have been there for his red buff. There's no counter dragon attempt. Vladimir got too low, baiting that fight. Slice and dice allows Renekton to get in and out. I mean, he still has his flash. Questionable gank attempt there. Perhaps it was needed to push in the wave. Vladimir could possibly not get the wave in alone, so he just wanted the safety to base whenever he wants. That might argue for that play, but all in all, they lost another red buff there. And now bot lane, Annie and Lucian just based, and they're about to hit level 6, and I think that's when the action starts.
Jesus here taking more damage in that mid lane. Coutard really bullying him at this point, up to a 25 CS lead, plus that first blood coming in there, gives him the Seeker's Arm Guard and that Crystalline Flask with a Doran's Ring to boot as well. So Coutard certainly showing his experience with that Zyra here in this middle lane. We'll see how that one all develops. This top lane, 49 to 62, so that lead for Forgiven not really shrinking too much.
Yeah, now it's basically a skill matchup. If Annie gets crescendo, then bursted really quick, she dies. If Annie lands a double crescendo, if Nif and Candy Panda overlap at one point, Tibbers comes out.
And there we go, seeing him putting the damage down on towards Nif. Is he going to go for the crescendo? Just edged in there towards Unlimited as though he wanted to have a go at that one. Unlimited not quite hitting level 6 just yet, but that will be coming up here soon. And Amazing is headed towards this top lane, but will they catch them out? The ward is there, but he's actually stood around the corner, so they've not seen him, and that might mean that he's too late with the speed, or not.
Or they're almost gonna bait it because Spencer's coming up. Good realization by both junglers that this is the fight they want to fight. This is where everything's gonna happen. Double AoEs, crowd control effects on each side, and yeah, it's gonna be really interesting.
Yeah, and that deep ward that was put in position from the Wolves as well by the SK Tribush, actually spotting Lee Sin coming up there early as well, so they got that early warning system in place. Svenskeren going to be wasting time here now.
Even if they didn't see Svenskeren move up, the indication that suddenly Nif is randomly, pseudo-randomly, playing a lot more aggressive and drop the pink ward is going to indicate that Svenskeren there, therefore he reveals.
No. Tower though, maybe more of a victim than anything else here, as they are going to be hammering away on this one. Unlimited has it level 6, not got that stun up and ready here, and there's not a lot they can do. These minions are going to be going down, but not in time for that turret to be saved, and that will be the first one of the game here going over to SK. Gives them a 3 or 200 gold lead at this point.
Yeah, and Vayne is continuously scaling better into game, as we see mid lane countered, no jungle pressure from either side. He's winning the matchup and he's winning it harder.
Mid lane, look at that, all being hammered away. And look at the wards coming out here from SK Gaming. One apiece at this point. They know that they need to win this Vision War.
That's a really good point, because it's really important for teams to snowball an advantage. Once you get one tower, you want to ward between those lanes, and that's really what they need to do. And it's beautiful to see that not the support is not buying all the wards.
I was going to say,
effort.
It's a team effort now. That's always a good sign. And I'm sure, you know, the new patch is making you feel even more happy as a support player. So everything's going so well for you guys these days. Always nice.
And I get
to
to cast with Joe Miller.
And that is basically your life is perfect right now, Crap.
Might as well retire.
Say? But we are. Oh, well, I thought we were going to see a dragon attempt there as Svenskeren headed down towards that bottom side with Copenhagen Wolves having that duo still in the top lane. That was revealed. Thought they might go for it, but at the same time, their duo lane was quite far behind either way, and that will stay alive for a while now. So we're going to have 2v1s back into action as we thought may have happened from the get-go.
I think your point stands correct. Either they're going to freeze Vladimir and zone him out of XP if they can, otherwise they're going to shove him up and get the Drake. They have a little bit of time window because this tower is falling really quickly top. Hopefully Freddy can hold them. If Freddy can hold them at bay for like a good 30 seconds more, possibly this might mean Drake, because Svenskeren is moving down stealth in the bottom because he's probably expecting Shyvana to do the same, and they will maybe outnumber him.
And he's not wrong either. Amazing coming down there. They did have that ward in. As the mid turret does. Minions finishing that one off as Youngbuck here going to take a lot of damage. Oh, Crescendo was too early, but Amazing jumped in there either way. I don't think he quite had the faith there in Youngbuck able to escape that one. And, you know, a flash burn. In fact, 2 flashes burnt for the Copenhagen Wolves. 1 over for SK Gaming. 2 Svenskeren flashed as well, along with that Crescendo.
Yeah, that's the fear of every support player doing a flash crescendo. You gotta hit it right on top of his head, or not too early, not too late, or he's just gonna fail. And although he whiffed it, the combined effort and the combined pressure they have with 4 people in this area, and Freddy keeping them at bay at top, allows SK to move in, possibly steal the move up. Doesn't get it. Nope. Kautar gets it. Wow. Well played.
Yeah, and that's like something that probably should never really be happening. Kautar coming in there, manages to secure that one. Meanwhile, Freddy going aggressive onto Forgiven, who was pretty much out of mana. Youngbuck coming out. He's going to get stunned up against the wall. Still has his ghost available. He's waiting for that one and does get away from 4 SK players.
And look what Copenhagen Wolves do with 3 members. They steal the blue buff. Youngbuck comes in, drags them away. Then Kautar is in place, combined with Amazing to stop the possible dragon attempt. Gives enough time for Annie and Lucian to push that top turret, and they save the Drake. And now Copenhagen Wolves is in a really good spot, because they could have lost that Drake due to the numbers disadvantage they had, but they played around it really damn well.
Yeah, Dragon still stands. Available for Copenhagen Wolves here, maybe. They see Freddy on this top side, of course not running a teleport at this point, and well, they're all headed back to Wolves at this stage. Svenskeren just going to be getting this blue buff. And you do see that already Kautar has that Zhonya's Hourglass finished up, which pretty much says that Riven's not going to kill him.
Yeah, it's very vital. Look at the 80 sentry composition SK has, and it cancels everything. He can just go in, bait them all into his ulti once they try and kill him, or even dodge possible skill shots by popping Zhonya's. And it really allows him to bait or control the teamfights on his own.
30 CS ahead of his lane opponent, Jesus. As we said, making his big debut here today, and well, that 1 kill on the scoreboard was against him. A little bit of a weird kill as well in the mid lane, and that's something probably have to hear from him personally as to how that actually went down. As wards go in towards Dragon, because the duo lanes now both facing off on the bottom side. We've got Shyvana on the bottom side of the map as well. Something tells me that Dragon's probably not going to be too far away. I mean, we're 15 minutes into this game right now.
Yeah, but everybody's still around. Let's see if they can stop the Dragon attempt. They have full vision, so they know Shyvana's starting. And Shyvana Zyra extremely quick, though. Shyvana really good on Drake, combined with the plants from Zyra and just a numbers advantage, but they might catch them.
Oh, grasping roots going out towards Jesus. Here comes Svenska from the backside. Manages to pick that one up, and there's a crescendo coming in as well. So a Stranglethorn's going to knock Nif in the air. Jesus is right in the middle of them, but he will be picked off there by Coutard, and that is a 2 for 0 here. SK do manage to pick up the Dragon, but they've lost 2 men.
Ironically though, the plant spawned behind the Drake allowed Svenskeren to come in with his Q, dash through and smite steal the Drake. Normally you pull out a Drake so Svenskeren can't do that, but there was a plant giving him access anyways. Good reaction by Copenhagen Wolves though. Play the fight really well. Immediate focus on Riven when she comes in. That's exactly how you have to play the fight.
And kept her out of it for a long time as well. To start off with their Coutard. And that is going to be a turret coming down from this one, the 3rd of the game. So the entire outer ring has been removed here from the Copenhagen Wolves. We can see a lot of them going back. Time to start getting that ward control underway.
And about 16 to 20 minutes into the game, this is where you're going to look at power spikes. Do you want to see Lucian? Exactly. He picks up Triforce. This is a spike. His next spike is probably going to be Lost Whisper, especially against the full 80 Sentry composition, or like full Bruiser comp rather. Then the next spike for Vayne is going to be, for example, the Blade of the Ruined King, but Lucian finishes this earlier. This might be an even more advantage because they get more valuable items for their gold, and Copenhagen Wolves might push through here.
Especially considering the fact that Zhonya's has done as well for Coutard to bait them all into that one and get things going. Youngbuck on the other side, on the top side, has the needlessly large rod plus the revolver in there. Freddy got himself that Spirit Visage already done as well. The CS between them is slightly in the advantage here for Freddy at 13 and at this point.
If we take a look at the gold count, for example, Vladimir is sitting on 1.2k gold. That means he's going to base later, and even Zyra has 2k gold. Once these guys are basing, they're going to get a lot more. Zyra caught in middle.
Yeah, there's a kick out actually, but Stranglethorn's going to go down. The question is whether Coutard can get to the safety of his turret here, and we are going to see the Zhonya's coming in. Jesus baited into that one. The shield going to protect him, but look at the damage coming out from the minions and the plants. Jesus walks away from that, but almost paid for it with his life. Here comes Freddy. Coutard surely not going to get away from that one. That'll be the finisher. And Coutard, I think, feeling very proud of himself getting out of that one, allowed him to, or made him stick around in that lane, lose out in the end, but they've gotten in a turret in bottom.
Exactly. Even though he made that mistake afterwards, a little too cocky in my opinion, but very great play. Great usage of Zona. They lose the bottom turret.
Turret down. Copenhagen Wolves can now get complete vision control of their enemy's bottom side of the jungle.
And if we're talking late game, Vladimir is such a split push menace that it's really hard to deal with. Yes, he has a week early, but he survived that early. He's gonna buy his Rabadons later, and he's just gonna push those wave in after wave and sustain whatever harass Freddy does on him. One wave later, it's gone, so they need to catch him. But Copenhagen Wolves, good vision control.
Unlimited there, just waiting off to the side. Pretty much what you have to do with Annie. Get ready in position. Hope the rest of your team are going to be there so you can flash in with Tibbers. Stun as many people as possible and follow through. Didn't happen this time around.
You can't do it alone. I've tried it in solo queue.
Well, I mean,
5 people with no follow-up.
We saw it from Mithy in that lane. That last game, let's not forget. 4-man. Tibbers comes down, Mithy's looking all proud, rest of his team are nowhere to be seen.
Nobody in sight, exactly.
Not something that you hope to see when you do that 4-man Tibbers. Luckily he had the stream to see that he actually did it in the first place, which is always a bonus for him. Coutard getting his blue buff there as well. He's added another needlessly large rod into his armor, as we see the Hydra is finished here as well for Jesus.
Yeah, Hydra coming out of Riven allows it to really combo and reset those auto attacks, going for the full 100% 2-0 combo, following up with the ulti if it doesn't get dodged by a magnificent hourglass, such as Coutard did.
Let's see then where the next moves are going to be made here. Candy Panda and Nif pushing out this bottom lane as much as they possibly can. We'll try and maybe have a bit of poke on towards that tower. They've got wards coming in, but fairly deep in the river. You can see that Nif actually pushing up, probably wanting to get more vision further up there and see what's going to happen. But with the fact that Annie's running around with those, just the spinning stun animation is just scary enough.
Yeah, once you see something twirling around Annie, you know you're not going to make it. They're going for a 3v3, but I don't think anyone's going to fight. I mean, meanwhile on top, Vladimir and Renekton going at it, but nobody's really going to get into kill range. I think they're waiting for the next dragon to spawn in about a minute roughly, I believe. And that's maybe where the next action is going to be. It's a little too early for Baron. Say, give it 3 or 4 more minutes, and then Annie can go vision control around Baron.
Copenhagen Wolves here putting down good amount of damage on towards Candy Panda. I say Copenhagen Wolves, it was more forgiven that had done that the whole way through. Unlimited trying to get in range here as well. Safeguard from Svenskeren will get him right back off towards Candy Pan. There's no turret behind here, behind SK here, let's not forget, but no real follow down from Coutard, maybe from that mid lane.
Oh, Tibbers whiffs.
Yeah, Tibbers coming in and not really landing where they would have wanted from that one. SK might try and follow this one up now, knowing the lack of crowd controls there, but they go towards him. He goes low, but Candy Panda will pick up Unlimited. Amazing brings it back for a 1-for-1 at this point, and now Forgiven is chasing, plus Coutard is coming down. Amazing's trying to delay him here as much as he can for Coutard to get around the side. Amazing gonna get knocked back, but Coutard can't get into range from this one. He can't quite get there to make things happen, and in the end, Svenskeren and Candy Panda both walk off.
This is why I was valuing the Shyvana pick so high. Look, yes, Vayne can condemn you even mid ulti or after ulti, but the burnout speed is so damn quick. You just walk back and you just start killing her again, and nobody can deal with the tanky monster that is Shyvana. Throw Vladimir on top of that, and I just want to point out that I actually was wrong about the Rabadons. Vladimir went for an Hourglass Water, the same way it's going to be used as Kabar did.
Jez is actually going aggressive here on towards Youngbuck, forcing him to pull up and to ghost as well. And there we see Jez is going to flash in for the kill, but Youngbuck not needing it here, not going to need to use that out.
He should have Zhonya's.
Wow.
Why didn't he Zhonya's? Ignite tick would have probably been ignored, I believe.
Yeah. Well,
mistakes happen.
He obviously felt comfortable with the fact that he was going to escape that one. Didn't quite happen. Nif caught out from this one. That's an easy kill back for the Copenhagen Wolves. So support down. That means there's no crescendo, even if it's on cooldown at this point either way, but that leaves a 4v4 with the Dragon up from this one. And we'll see if either team's nervy enough to really go for this one at this point. It's kind of out of position at this stage as both teams in each other's area. Stranglethorn still go down. Candy Panda going super low. Ignite is ticking on him, but he will be finished off there. It's Coutard that gets that one, and now Amazing is chasing down, trying to get onto Freddy and onto Svenskeren. And Jesus is in the mid lane with that double buff from earlier on him. But Copenhagen Wolves now, they got it back into a 5v4. Do they have to choose here between Tower and Dragon? Not really, because we see Youngbuck coming back.
Might be a steal there though. Svenskeren waiting in the back, ready to steal it again. But Counter can just control the entire area here, and even if Svenskeren comes, they should punish him. They should be really ready for this.
Well, there is the ward going to be taken out. Svenskeren does have a sight still, no? He throws that Q over on towards Amazing. The obvious target here to be jumping onto. There we go, but Amazing this time gets the better of him. Well, smite out perfectly.
Well played. Wait out the Lee Sin Q, immediately burst him. Don't wait for him to throw it down any more wards or anything like that. Good dragon control there from the Dragon Shyvana. No pun intended there. But then actually, I really like what they did, Copenhagen Wolves, in that fight you saw earlier. It was it showed how far behind Jesus is, because in that fight, we didn't really see that on camera. But in the back, Forgiven, out of mana, was zoning Jesus out of the fight. And normally, Riven just eats up 80 carries alive. That's her job. She jumps in, immediately kills them. The kite coming in from Forgiven, one dash was enough to zone him completely out of the fight, and that's where a lot of people make the mistake as well. This is not support Zyra, this is AP mid Zyra, and she hurts.
She hurts a lot, that's for sure. And that's how she was made in the start, you know. Maybe her intended role being played out here. Let's have a look at the overall picture. I mean, 6-3 in kills, 4-1 in turrets for the Copenhagen Wolves after they got their fourth with that inner bottom lane turret. And a 34, let's call it's a 4,000 gold lead, give or take here at this point. I mean, this is a comfortable position for the Wolves to be in, especially for the fact that, you know, Youngbuck is going to be coming strong and going to be able to push those lanes out and be a general menace to everyone.
I think Wolves will be happy with equal gold as well, because their comp really scales and have a little bit of everything. They have good disengage from Zyra, good engage from Annie, kite from Lucian, engage and really a strong scaling jungler, which is really vital. And then they have Vladimir, really good scaling AP for those AoE fights.
Well, Svenskeren going to try his hand at having a bit of a steal once again. Amazing actually having to smite away that one just to make sure that it's safe. Meanwhile, bottom lane has seen another turret go down. The second of the game here from SK Gaming. We can see the Culling coming out, trying to just get rid of the minions there and force them to tank up a couple of turret hits, but I'll just take a little bit too late on that front. It's Amazing actually getting involved from this one. We did see that Sniff off towards the side as well, and both teams kind of squaring up here across a line on the river.
See, I don't like what they're doing. I wish Copenhagen Wolves would translate this advantage into pure Nashor control. If they buy a lot of pink wards and an Oracle as they have, I feel the members should help buy a pink ward each, go into Nashor completely dewarded. Look at how hard it is for SK to face second area into a Zyra, Annie, Lucian, Vladimir. Like, it's virtually impossible for all these melee characters.
Well, let's see if that's what they do. They are headed on towards this top side as a Puma's going to come down. Crescendo will land. This could be dangerous. And in fact, one man will die instantly. Youngblood going to go low. Strangled Thorns will knock up Freddy. And Amazing going in towards the back, but they've left Lucian a little bit untouched. Finally, they're going to turn that one around and go focus in onto him. He's going to fall from that one. And in the end, it is going to be a 4-4-2. I mean, SK going low from that one, but a 4-for-2. Very, very happy with that.
And if there's one way to lose the game for Copenhagen Wolves, it's that fighting in a narrow jungle passage without any vision being jumped upon. If they jump on the enemy, it's fine. Zyra works well in those passages, but she wasn't close enough to disengage with her ulti. Shyvana jumps on Vayne, but Vayne already took care of all the other opponents and just kited Shyvana along the way. Really good play by SK there. They were looking for a catch. They needed the catch, and they got the catch. Opening Crescendo, good follow-up, and needed a wombo combo coming out from Riven. That's exactly what they're looking for. I hope Copenhagen Wolves learns their lesson, wards up properly. They can still control Nashor because they can still force SK to face check, but they have to do it properly.
Brings our goal back to barely 1,000 at this point.
At this point, it's more about momentum actually than it is about gold. It's about the if only there was something like a pressure meter in the top of the corner that says like how much pressure are we exerting on the enemy team, because you can talk about gold all day and it's trivial sometimes because people are sitting a lot more gold, their items are not as valuable, they don't scale as well, but it's all about map control, vision control and pressure, and this just catch by SK alleviated so much pressure from Copenhagen Wolves.
Unlimited is working through those walls right now, and Nif doing exactly the same pretty much on the top side. And exactly the same, aside from the fact that he doesn't have the Oracle, so he's not really taking wards away that the Wolves have already had in there. Neither is Unlimited because he's just walking over them.
Yeah, he doesn't care too much about wards, but at the same time, Nif doesn't really want to rob the vision. Sure, it'd be cool, he just wants vision. And look at his build, he's a Ruby Sidestone compared to normal Sidestone, but they're going to a siege right now.
Yeah, going to be pushing in towards this turret here. A lot of damage onto it already. Half HP of that turret has just disappeared. And actually the Wolves dealing with that one quickly. But look at this. Freddy is coming from the backside. He seems to be thinking twice, waiting for the rest of his team to come in there. And we have a bit of a pause. Not sure exactly what the problem is there with that one. I'm just going to see if I can have a look at the chat. Apparently SK have a mouse problem, so that's something that you definitely want in order if you're chasing a team down the middle lane.
Generally, to play League of Legends, use of a mouse is advised.
Yeah, it definitely helps things out, but that gives the teams a little bit of a breather in this one. I can see that it seems to be Svenskeren, who definitely with a Lee Sin, who has to hit his skill shots. A mouse is more than valuable to the outcome of what he's going to be able to produce. But that gives a little bit of time, as I said, to take a look down, you know, some of the items here. We see Last Whisper, as you were talking about earlier, is done here for Lucian, added into that Trinity Force from earlier. And
they use that power spike to push down the turret, and it's really, really nice to see that they use their ranged advantage, because Renekton's melee, Lee Sin's melee, Riven's melee. Vayne is quasi-melee, we can say, almost melee, because he's so short-ranged, that once actually five members rather of Copenhagen Wolves group up, and not everybody's there because Freddy was at the side, they can take down a tower so damn quick because of the zone Zyra and Annie provide.
So it seems like we are ready to get back underway with this one. Svenskeren's issue has been fixed, and we are going to go back to that mid lane chase here in just a second. And there we go. So Freddy here on that top side. We saw him coming in from the back. Kind of let Copenhagen Wolves through from that one. He didn't want to be the sole man up at the top, I think, despite how tanky he now is. Got himself another giant spell added in to that Sunfire kit. But he's really out of position here, so SK are maybe even going to have to pull him around the long way or go for some kind of fight, right?
Problem is they can't go for a frontal engage into a Zyra because that's suicide. That's why Freddy is flanking. He's hoping to stun somebody in the back, give them enough time for Nif to follow up with Flash Crescendo, which then in turn gives enough time for the melees to get into the fray. It's very hard to do, and that's why SK's lineup is so complex to play rather than Copenhagen Wolves is a little more straightforward and often gives more rewards.
Alright, now they hold that reward ahead in this game. But again, if you look at what you were saying earlier about the control of the Baron, which is 28 minutes in generally what we're seeing, like this is Baron dance o'clock, so to speak, and they've got those oracles in there looking for that position control. Svenskeren is sweeping out that bottom side of the jungle, but Copenhagen Wolves here headed down mid again.
Yeah, I wish they just deward the Nashor area. It puts so much pressure on the enemy team if you know Nashor is dark. They could be literally in every damn brush. They could be hiding. You have to proceed with caution. No, they're going for Drake again, it seems, but I don't really think that's the right choice, because as long as SK has a ward roughly in the Baron area, they don't care. Like, push us in, we'll take the farm, we'll push you back.
Let's see. Dragon started off, will be finished, no pressure, but again, a positional play from SK going up middle.
Great. Although it's pretty risky, because if they get cornered in, it's the same if you engage from the back or from the front, it doesn't matter. If you all engage from the same angle into a Zyra and you have no flanks, it's gonna be hard, but they're moving down back in the jungle, sending Vayne top already.
Yeah, playing headers away from that one. Annie actually trying to push up as far as possible here. They have got vision of things going on, and Wolves are gonna go straight back here and push right back down the mid lane themselves.
Yeah, giving SK like their own trick back in their face, and actually they're way better at zoning the enemies out. SK got pushed out, but Copenhagen Wolves does not have that problem, and now it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with this.
Well, that area right there that Candy Panda and Jesus coming down is prime Zyra area as Candy Panda burst down into that one. SK now with 4 men caught out of position completely. How do they deal with this one?
6 men, even Tibbers is joining the
party.
That's
true.
There.
There's a bear in there as well for it. We do see Unlimited taking a lot of damage. There's a Stranglethorns going down the crescendo, not really hitting the men they would have wanted to hit. Jesus has to go back. Zhonya's was used early by Coutard. They're chasing in on towards Jesus, whose shield is going to wear off. Amazing finish as that. 4 men are down here for SK. It leaves just Svenskeren, who's in the mid lane, in the middle of nowhere. They can push this one straight through.
It's like we were saying, it just doesn't work going straight into a Zyra, especially 4v5 without your AD carry.
And especially there.
Especially there, exactly. Vayne got caught and they still tried to they desperately tried to get back into their base because they felt like losing an inhibitor would lose them the game. Not sure if that was the right call. Lucian very well played there. He backed off, and this is actually how you use the culling. Because you outrange the zone of the enemies. You don't get in range of Crescendo, you just slam it in their face, because if they're all running at you, it's pretty easy to hit.
Oh wow, early smite there from Svenskeren, and he played so patiently to wait for that blue buff there.
Just didn't get it.
Smite a little bit off. I think that the reset tick as well threw him off slightly, which is why that kind of happened, but Forgiven got it anyway. Forgiven
knew he was in the brush, because if you leash the blue buff and suddenly changes direction walking toward the brush, generally indicates that somebody's waiting there.
Someone hanging around you. Well, helped him out with that smite, and then the regen allowed Forgiven to get that one away either way, and they're going to get their own blue buff here for Coutard, who now has that Void Staff added into his Rabadons and the Zhonya's Hourglass.
He even gets the plant service. He doesn't have to do blue buff himself. Spawns 2 plants and they take it down. That's how much damage this guy is doing.
All fun, which means, you know, we should probably talk about that, because that leads into, you know, the whole Baron and how quickly the Copenhagen Wolves can do it at this point.
That's basically the threat. Even if they do it slow, it doesn't even matter, which they don't. They do it ridiculously quick with Shyvana, with a late game Vladimir Lucian. Like, they have enough tools to take down Baron easily, but they need to rob the vision. People should be buying pink wards here. I think pink wards and oracles provide more value per gold point spent than any item currently possibly being bought, because they already win the fight so easily if they pick the right fight.
And there is the pink ward put down on Baron, allows them to move out the one single ward up till now. There are still a couple around there. As we see Vayne here, showing on the bottom lane. Is that a go signal for the Wolves here on that top side?
Well, they need to clean that wave at one point. Vayne's trying to put some split push pressure, but this actually gives Copenhagen Wolves the invitation to do what I've been talking about all game, which is bait the Nashor. Hopefully Amazing just moves away there, because if the jungler's not there, they're probably not doing it. They want to bait them into a narrow passage and punish them for warding over a wall.
Well, that's maybe what's going to happen here as we see them pushing in towards it. Actually, the culling used there, and that gets Svenskeren decently low. Yeah, pokes him right back from that one. We can see that Youngbuck in the background already starting off Baron. Vayne has started to come up from this bottom lane. We could see this fight break out here as Coutard going to get the grasping roots on towards Freddy. They stop the Baron, they focus down Freddy. He's the big tanky man in the team. They can't afford to lose him as a crescendo comes across. Jesus takes a lot of damage. Stranglethorn's not going to knock him up, but they're controlling this fight perfectly. There's another kill coming out. Freddy, he's taking a lot of damage. Will probably get away, or will he? There is a push in from Forgiven. Nif now chased off, but it doesn't really matter about Nif. He's just going to back away from that one. They turn back off towards Baron.
See, I don't even agree with Copenhagen Wolves starting the Baron there, because you know SK is going to come.
You lose the health.
Yeah, they're going to, not even the health, you're going to lose the positional advantage. You could be anywhere except Baron Pit and punish them for face checking, but it doesn't even matter. They have this big of a lead, and they punish SK. SK doesn't take you down in one combo. They will never take you down at all. Too much kite, too much repetitive poke coming out from the Wolves, and looks like they're taking this game.
Well, they're taking the Baron and they're taking the inner turret on that top lane. And we see that Candy Panda actually went to the bottom lane to push that one even further out. Those minions should get cleared as Forgiven actually going to dive in the Culling. Everything landing there on towards Nif Sona, and that's going to be an inhibitor from this one. Surely, actually, SK have just pretty much all spawned in there, but they're going to lose that inhib either way. Copenhagen Wolves can be very happy with this one, with the fact that that mid lane had pushed right the way through as well, and they're going to have a go on these Nexus turrets.
Yeah, this is why Candle came back. Split pushing when they take your inhib is generally fine because you can't stop it, but they're risking losing their damn base, and that's really just a call for Vayne to come back.
Well, let's see. Copenhagen Wolves having that Baron regen. Freddy falls low once again. They turn on towards the first Nexus turret. That goes down pretty easily. Jesus completely out of position there as well. He's going to have to back off. Stranglethorn's coming in. That's going to knock them back up and away, and they're just going to focus straight down onto the Nexus. It's the Copenhagen Wolves that take game number 1 here against SK Gaming. A convincing victory for them as well.
I have to hand it them, except for maybe the Baron plays, which is maybe my pet peeve, and I maybe go on with it too much. They played really damn well. They knew the strengths of their composition, they knew their weaknesses, and they played around SK's composition really well. I hope SK, yes, they're going for comfort champs. They all feel like they feel comfortable on Riven, they feel comfortable on Renekton, they feel comfortable on Lee Sin, but putting them all together, I'm not sure if it all works. Yeah,
your comfort champions still have to fit into a composition that works and is not going to be count. I mean, we know how well Coutard plays Zyra, and that Zyra pick against 3 champions that have to come at you is a perfect counter, surely.
Yeah, you have to admit though that it's rather unconventional, Zyra mid, and it's really new probably for Jesus to play against, add some little nerfs to that, and perhaps it was unlucky because he got hit by a plant hit that was pretty far off, and it was almost, I don't think either of us saw it coming either, and he was probably hoping to get his shield back up and then dash out of the lane. And if a Riven gets behind, it's really hard, but if somehow he gets a gank on that Zyra, they can kill her over and over and over again, so it's not as bad as we make it seem sometimes here, because it all snowballed from the early game, and SK's composition, if they get behind, it's really hard for them to get back unless they make these insane picks with Crescenda.
And just to go through the scores there, the guys that actually got kills in the end, because Youngbuck ended 0-2-7, 0-11 for Unlimited, but 6-1-5, amazing in the jungle with Shyvana. Don't think we'll be seeing any Shyvana unless it's for maybe SK next time around.
I hope not. I think it's pretty strong.
Yeah, 5-1-8 on that Zyra as well in the mid lane. I think against a team like Copenhagen Wolves, where you know Zyra could go in the mid as well, it's not a bad ban.
It might not be a bad ban, but I think Nif can definitely deal with Zyra's in the bot lane. I don't know. I'm not too familiar with all the other champions because you only have 3 bans. You have to know, like everybody, every game we watch, everybody's like, why didn't they ban that? Oh, they should have banned that. But then something else could have been open.
Because you only have 3 and they have to count, that's for sure. And then 5-1-7, great Lucian play coming out of Forgiven, showing that you know, he's the man to come in and replace Reckless, which is always going to be big shoes to fill, but doing a great job from what we've seen.
Yeah, very, very well. Great team fight play, good positioning, zoned out the Riven in some of the fights, went in, knew exactly when to go in and pop his all his damage. Great usage of the culling, very impressive.
Well, that'll be 1-0 for the Copenhagen Wolves. We'll see when we come back after a short commercial break if SK Gaming